We've had the threats from the Trump administration that have been partly blamed on sending global markets into a tailspin. Now the threatened retaliation. China's Commerce Ministry saying it's ready to take necessary countermeasures should the Trump administration more than double the rate of tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese imports into the United States. This, the Trump administration says, would be for backsliding on commitments that China has made during previous rounds of trade negotiations aimed at addressing what the US calls unfair trade practices. Well, China has to some extent acknowledged that there are problems now with these negotiations. The Foreign Ministry saying it is only natural to have differences in negotiations, and yet trade talks are still set to go ahead here in Washington, D.C. on Thursday and Friday. But those tariffs, should the Trump administration go ahead with them, would take effect at 1 minute past midnight, right in the middle of those negotiations. So what kind of impact would they have? Well, Donald Trump, the US president, thinks tariffs are good for business. Tweeting earlier this Wednesday, "I am very happy with over $100 billion a year in tariffs filling US coffers. Great for the US, not good for China," referring there to the duties that the US collects from those tariffs. And Trump is willing to go all of the way. He's threatening to effectively tax the entire volume of imports that China sends to the United States each year. They've been done carefully so far to spare consumers from bearing the brunt of these tariffs, but it would be impossible in that scenario for consumers not to face higher costs on some consumer goods should those tariffs go all the way. But those talks are set to go ahead, and yet it's clear that the tone has changed dramatically from even a few days ago. Owen, Fairclough, CGTN, Washington.